Hey there YouTube, this is sjm405 back with another video. I haven't been to a thrift store in quite a while. I haven't really bought anything used. So I was there the other day and I found this guy, which is a Panasonic Shockwave, model number SL-SW405. And it was marked for $5 and there's 25% off, so I ended up paying about $4 for this, which isn't bad. It came with batteries too, and I was able to test it in the store, at least turn it on. It turned on, seemed to be trying to read the disc. I didn't know if it actually could read a disc or not. When I got home, I put a CD in and it worked, so it sounds great. It's a little bit dirty though, so what we are going to do is a bit of a clean, and especially like the outside case is a little grubby. It smells a little, I don't know if the person was a smoker or whatever, but it smells a little bit eh. And the screen is actually quite a bit dirty. It's hard to see the screen, so we're going to actually clean all that. I guess first thing we can do, you can see it was tested pretty near. It's like December, what, 5th or 6th today? I don't know the exact date, but you can see here it was tested on the 26th of November, so not that long ago. So I guess we'll start by peeling off these stickers, and hopefully they come up in one go. Secret to these stickers is to go slowly so that you don't separate the paper. If you don't want to bother with that, you can always use isopropyl alcohol. As long as it doesn't have a plastic covering, it should come off pretty easily with that. Or you can use something like Goo Gone. This is the stuff I usually use. And it works great, and it leaves everything smelling like orange, which is fantastic. Okay, so we got that. I remember my friend in high school, one of my best friends, who lives like, used to live right across the street, actually had, I believe, this exact model, and I think this also comes in blue, but I remember he had the yellow one, and so this was sort of nostalgic, so I thought I'd pick it up. I have plenty of CD players, but I really like portable audio, so thought it'd be fun to pick up. So next step, I guess we're gonna tackle, well, first off, going to get some wipes, alcohol wipes, and I got these guys, and they come in an easy to grab little pouch container here, and just give this a scrub. There are some surface kind of dirt or something going on there. Now, I believe this is actually like a waterproof. Oh yeah, you can see how dirty that is already. So this is actually getting most of that dirt off, the surface at least. And I'm gonna need some Q-tips because there's actually quite a bit just in a lot of these grooves. But this should take care of most of it. And it looks like something crusty stuck on the back. It looks like the feet were pulled off, and one of them was stuck back on here. So I have one of the feet. I'll just probably remove this. It's just a little rubber pad. So yeah, I'll probably just end up replacing this with a suitable replacement. There seems to be a little something in here. Okay, I think that's the majority of it. Let's go over the button area a little bit. Now this is an interesting design that they have. So they have a water gasket seal when you actually close it, and when you lock the sides, that's what actually like compresses that gasket. We have the display, and then there's an outer window to protect it, and all the buttons are just membranes that push through to the physical buttons here. We have a lid detection switch in the back here, so if we press to turn it on, it'll, well, it said hold because I put hold on, but if you press it, it'll just say open and it shuts off real quick. And here's the battery bay, first off, so I'm just gonna remove the batteries. And we have some extra switches inside. One's to switch the mode from resume, normal, or random. And this one is to turn on the anti-skip. And what the anti-skip does is there's actually a little buffer, and they have an icon with bars to show you how much of that buffer is filled. I'm not sure how long of a buffer this one particularly has. Not too dirty inside, and you wouldn't expect it because it's pretty well and truly sealed. I will go around the edges. Those tend to accumulate quite a bit of gunk. Okay. So yeah, another thing is all the jacks are covered by these like rubber bungs. And here's the headphone jack here, and in the back is an aux out as well as a DC input. And let's see, 4.5 volts, so that's that. And these switches aren't just regular switches, they're these little rotatey little bits. It's all to keep this waterproofed. And there's a little bit of dust hiding in there. Might have to get a screwdriver and just kind of pick that out. And interestingly enough, it looks like there's this little gap in the front here, maybe to like mount it. It's like a little catch, maybe for like a car kit. And even the volume control isn't just like a normal volume control, it's actually a little wheel that sticks out the bottom there. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so in here, scrub all this out. Yeah, this was definitely in a pretty heavily used state, needing a good clean. So we probably don't need to actually get in here, but I'm gonna pop this open anyway. So find a screwdriver that fits. You can see the laser, and it has, similar to like the GameCube, how the ejection mechanism works. They're little plastic fingers. There's 3 of them. When you insert a disc, it actually clicks them down, and when you press the center button, it pops them up to eject the disc. I'm just opening it to show you guys what the inside looks like. Thought that would be interesting. Let's see, I think I got all of them. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. And let's see, yeah, just lifts right off. And you can see even these little switches just go through. There's a plastic kind of molded piece here, and they all just sit in little pins on the board there. You have to be careful of these switches, that you leave them in the same position that the internal switches are actually set to. And we can see exactly how these rotating external switches work. It's actually like a plastic cam. These are just like regular single pole switches, so that's actually rather interesting. Battery contacts, you can see the common edge here. It's just like a folded sheet metal, sort of doohickey. There's a little hair in here. And we have the laser itself here. It's actually in pretty good, clean condition. Just flip it over here. And we have the motor and a worm screw to drive the sled, and then the center, the spindle motor is just, you know, your regular pancake motor. We have rubber shock absorbers, and those locate into plastic standoffs. So there is some compliance. So that helps mechanically, and that coupled with the circuitry to buffer the music digitally pretty much represents the shock resistance. And there is something, it's like a little plastic molding in here. I wonder what that's for. It's like a little hook, it looks like. It's not really used for anything, it doesn't look like. There's going to be a couple chips on the bottom, but probably not really much to look at. You can see the potentiometer right in there. That's where the physical potentiometer mounts to the plastic external part. The headphone jack, interestingly enough, this is like sports oriented. You could tell because it's it's not soldered to the main board. It's actually a separate jack that's soldered and then hot glued on the solder joints, and then wires are run to the main board. So if you drop it and it hits right on that jack, the plastic framing will absorb the impact, not any solder joints. So that makes it, more resistant to drop damage. And in the back here, you can see the lid detection switch. It's just a little momentary there. And we have these two jacks aren't shock protected like the headphone jack, because you really wouldn't be running while it's plugged into the wall or to your stereo system, would you? And you can see this mechanism. That's interesting. For the lid, it gives it that snap when it opens fully. It just sort of snaps open in a fully open position so it doesn't flop around in the breeze. It's just a bit of like spring metal that is aligned in such a way that it catches on the edge of this hinge piece. And we have the LCD mounted just sort of at a small angle there, like a 45-degree angle. And all the contacts are there on the bottom. It's just like a segmented character display. We have the ZIF sockets on these guys, and we have, that appears to be the buffer SRAM. This is where it stores the audio temporarily. It'll spin up the disk, hurry up, grab as much data as it can stored in there, and then it'll play from here. And we have a chip here, it's labeled BA6893AK. That could be the main processor, and maybe there's like a DSP on the other side, but yeah. We have an inductor here. This is all power supply related, so it's going to have a switching supply. We have a single adjustment pot on that. Oh, and yeah, the headphone jack is even, there's a push friction fit connector on that too, so it's not even hard soldered to the main board. That's definitely good to see. Yeah, and like I said, there's nothing underneath here, so it's really only this L-shaped board. Yeah, so I'm going to stick this back on because there's really nothing to clean underneath. This being like a sealed unit actually kept a lot of that dirt and grime out anyway. Now, to clean the in between the screen frame here, we're actually going to, there's 6 screws, just remove those. We have this metal frame here, and yeah, fairly clean. We have rubber buttons, which should just pull out. And the plastic frame is right here, and that's what's actually, there's dirt all along the edges and all the corners after years and years of use and dust accumulating. So there, that's pretty good. Also, the buttons have quite a bit of grime around them. But yeah, the rubber did its job. It kept it from getting inside. So I'm just going to go through and give them a clean. Okay. And get all the edges here. Yeah, you can see all that dirt. Jeez. Okay. So this should just slot back in there. Then next comes the buttons. Actually, I think, yeah, it goes in the other way. Goes rubber, then plastic. So then I guess the rubber seals around the plastic, and then it's all compressed down. Let's see. Oops. Let's see if that... Yeah, there you go. Just have to make sure that rubber frame sits in there fully. And it's just a matter of screwing that back down. There we go. And everything has screws. Even this hinge you could remove if you absolutely needed to. These little pieces have screws as well. And there we go. We insert the batteries, and I will grab a CD and just retest this. Happy it came with the battery door. A lot of times if the battery door is removable, they'll be lost if you get it secondhand. Let me grab a CD and just show you the display running. Okay, so we got a disc, put it in, clamp it shut, and press play. You can see it's starting to run. It's on resume right now, and you can see the buffer is animating, hopefully. Sorry if it's difficult to see the screen. Yeah, it fills up. There's like 5 circular bars, and as it fills the buffer, it fills those segments. Yeah, there are a couple scratches on this screen part, so it might be a good idea to polish it. It's probably just acrylic or something like that, so it should be easily polishable. Yeah, it's running. Playing just fine. All the buttons work. Can skip through. It seems to detect everything fast enough, so, you know, the optical system is working just fine. If you're having problems with like it tracking along with the disc, if it's skipping or if it takes a while for it to start playing a song, it could either be the laser or the capacitors in the if it has like an analog focusing servo mechanism. Could be the caps have gone bad, and that could definitely cause an issue depending on the age of the unit. But yeah, this one is in good working order. It's a bit of a dust hog though. I just cleaned it and dust is already getting in between the display and the inside and this guy. Yeah, for like $4, definitely worth it. I love these like older CD players, and Panasonic has made some like really neat sports models, dust and water resistant. They have like, you know, rubber seals and everything. Basically like an evolution of this design, and those look fantastic. I remember lusting after one of those when I was a teenager. Instead, I ended up getting it was a Memorex was my first CD player, and it was okay, but it honestly wasn't the best. It had 40-second anti-skip protection. It was nothing special. It skipped kind of a lot. It was quite large. It was, I believe, actually even larger than this. Maybe about the same size or a little larger. And I carried that around. I had cargo pants. I carried one cargo pant had a CD wallet. The other one had the CD player in it, and I would walk around everywhere with that guy. And then a little bit later, like a year or two after I got that, I ended up getting a Sony, and that's the one that I used the most. I used that all the way through like pretty much high school, and then I ended up moving to getting a mini disc player, and then shortly after that, I moved on to MP3 players and iPods and whatnot. So, but yeah, definitely a really nice unit, and this guy will hopefully last quite a long while, get many years of use out of this. I still listen to CDs. I still buy and collect CDs. Looking inside this guy and just giving it a good thorough clean, which if you're maintaining electronics, you got to do every once in a while. And also, super huge important thing, remove any batteries. Do not store, if you have old electronics, do not store them with alkalines or even rechargeables inserted. They can and will very much leak and destroy the contacts and possibly get onto the board and destroy that. making it very difficult to repair. So I know, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this like really random video. I'm not really going to edit this down too much. It's going to be really chill.